Good evening, my fine folks. Happy New Year. All of that good stuff. I hope you're all doing well, because I know I am, because Hokuzono just dropped something absolutely sensational upon our lap, so let's talk about it.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
First things first, I just want to ask you, like, subscribe, go follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before the year ends, so help a brother out. Anyway, this chapter opens up where the last one left off, giving us some information on how the enchanted blades actually work. Quote, the extreme power produced by incinerating your life force reaches extreme concentrations and turns black. At the threshold of death, it glitters with an otherworldly light. Now, we're given a little flashback here to the Rakuzaichi arc, showing off Chihiro's black lightning and what happened all the way back in chapter 32. Now, I've had this theory for a little while now. I've talked about it in many videos that these swords are actually alive, or at the very least sentient. And that theory stems from the statement of Cloud Gouger in solidarity with Chihiro on the brink of death, straining to save its master. And we're made aware that this black lightning within this chapter is the result of life force being incinerated, which to me implies that what we saw in chapter 32 was indeed Cloud Gouger burning its life away even more to help Chihiro. Either that or it was Chihiro doing it. But Chihiro didn't really look like he was close to death, and it's obviously contextually and visually implied that Cloud Gouger is the one that's close to death. But it raises a lot of questions, so I'd like to ask you guys, what do you guys think with the evidence that we have right now? Do you think these swords are alive or somewhat sentient to some degree, or do you think that this is something entirely different? Let me know in the comments below. However, Soga, on the other hand here, he is something different. Soga and the Magatsumi stand antithetical to what I just spoke about. If Chihiro and Cloud Gouger, and maybe even Enten for that right, can burn their life forces away to create this power, then Soga and the Magatsumi stand to be a black hole sucking in all of the life around him. Now, the Magatsumi steals life from others, and it gives it and grants it to its wielder. In other words, the wielder usurps lives and consumes them. Now, this sparked an interesting theory in my mind here, that he says he's going to borrow Yura's body, but I kind of wonder if Yura is just gone now, and I kind of hope that that is not the case. I feel like there's a lot that we could have built upon with Yura here, so I do hope that that isn't the case with Yura, but either way, it is the enchanted blade crafted to kill enemies. This, to me, is an interesting piece of information. It implies the other enchanted blades weren't made with killing in mind. Maybe rather to injure or incapacitate or confuse the enemy, but the Magatsumi is made to take advantage of all of those possibilities. It's made to erase life, to consume it, to usurp it. And the realm where the Swordmaster presides right now, simply unsheathing the sword continually, sucks the life out of anyone in the vicinity, and we get to see the effects of this in action as we see these trees here literally disintegrating in a city setting. Now, this kind of power in a city setting can't really be showcased to its full extent, I believe, especially with everyone here within like a 250-meter radius has been evacuated. But imagine the untold damage that the Magatsumi could do in an area brimming with life. For example, an island with forests, wildlife, grass, trees, plants, insects. When I thought about this, I thought about how Hokuzono may be intended to show us where the Magatsumi shines best through its abilities, being represented in those plants and bugs that it's sort of stealing and siphoning the life away from. And I also wonder if the lives claimed by the Magatsumi have an effect. Does it matter if it's human lives, or do those bugs and birds and animals and trees and plants, are they all equal nutrients for Soga? In any case, we get more of an insight into Soga's personality. A couple of chapters ago, Soga found it distasteful that Yura wore a suit to wield the Magatsumi, and he changed into a more traditional Japanese garment here. Now, Soga is shown even more of that sort of personality, honoring the fight where they are right now, telling both Chihiro and Samura that should they leave the area where everyone has been evacuated, that 250-meter radius, he expects them to slit their own bellies. He essentially just says, if you leave here, kill yourself. Essentially, I'm not even sure if I can say that on YouTube, actually. That probably not. Anyway, it's not something I expected from Soga, this unique code of honor, but it is also kind of in character for him. After all, he is a true Japanese nationalist, so to him, the idea of potentially hurting civilians is out of the question, or at least that's what I'd like to think it is, because I'm not sure if he knew that these guys were evacuated when he eviscerated a building a couple of chapters ago. Anyway, that honor only extends so far. In the first double spread of 2026, Soga completely and utterly devastates Chihiro. Now, we can see the sheer power and pure force of Soga moving within this panel. And I want you to notice how only Samura here was able to draw his blade in time to react and stave off the sheer power of Soga's attack here. Chihiro, on the other hand, wasn't that fast. It's not until Soga has cleaved his shoulder in two that Chihiro's blade is drawn, by which time it's too late, and this guy is tossed aside. Now, we are shown within this chapter the upper limits of not only Chihiro's strength, as he is currently, but also Samura's strength, and we get to see that finally starting to sort of cap out, I suppose. Soga and Samura engage in this small clash with Samura attacking from Soga's blind side. Soga counters, Samura teleports, but the speed of which Samura teleports here is not enough at all. The difference in speed costs Samura a hand, that same hand that wields the Tobimune, and Samura switches once again, using the remaining offhand here, the remaining hand, to claim his sword back, and instantly begins healing. And as fast as he heals, Soga strike, in him from Chihiro and Samura from an arm. Now, this is where we are given a rundown on the current situation. Quote, simply being near it constantly drains our vitality. Suzaku can barely neutralize the effect, and there's no power left for healing. The enormous scale at which he fortifies himself and drains his opponent is too immense. It's here Samura remembers the words of Soga in the previous chapters, "My blade can take your life." Now, I've long theorized since the chapters of Samura and Iori and their reunion that Samura will eventually come to pass within this chapters, within this series. He will eventually come to die, and I still believe that that may come to pass as this fight with Soga presses on, and I'm more and more scared of its certainty. Within this worrying panel, that revelation that comes to us that all of the sword bearers never actually stopped the Swordmaster, rather, he stopped when the malediction was completed, meaning none of these guys single-handedly can stop this dude. It's kind of left to Enten and Chihiro to deal with this. Now, Samura and Soga clash one more time, for the last time within this chapter, and Samura once again being bested, even Suzaku being used at full force simply isn't enough to stave off the attacks of Soga. Now, Soga begins to hit the villain monologue explaining how Samura can just simply never hope to defeat him for as long as he wields the magatsumi. He simply has the upper hand here. He holds the reins. Ignoring all that, Chihiro appears on the battlefield. Here and now, at the pinnacle of the chapter, Hogazono delves into something showing us just how strong Chihiro has become and how strong he will be in the future with Enten. Chihiro, looking noticeably revitalized, begins walking towards Soga, completely ignoring the spider cast upon him. And we finally learn that Chihiro, after his battle with Samura, he managed to actually open the doorway for Enten's true realm, a door which he has been knocking on since chapter 17, since he split Cloud Gouger in two. Now, I've mentioned this a few times within these chapter reviews that this battle feels like it is the final battle within the series, and whether it is or not is to be seen, but now that we have Chihiro standing in this sort of revitalized manner against Soga, it made me realize the startling fact that if the Swordbearers couldn't stop Soga, and the fact that he chose to stop himself once the malediction was done doing its thing, that means he's technically, as far as we're aware, never gone all out against someone, never seen someone who's able to truly test his swordsmanship in a way that is going to cause him harm or cause him doubt or make him think, I might lose this. So I'm very, very interested to see where this battle goes. Now, I will note how the art style here for Nishiki feels and looks very different, but there's something here that I just can't quite put my finger on. I can't decide if it's due to him reaching this true realm and Nishiki sort of morphing into a new style, a new form, or if it's simply just a art style change on Hogazono's part. Nishiki, however, is revealed to have been the cause of how Chihiro is ignoring the effects of the magatsumi. Now, you may not have noticed this, but way back when in chapter 1, Kunishiki explains that the goldfish and their meanings all actually mean something. The red one attracts good fortune, the black one wards off evil, and the tricolored one, that's supposed to be totally amazing, in his words. And it seems fitting to me that Nishiki is the ability used to ignore the effects of an enchanted blade that seems utterly unbeatable. A sword designed to destroy the enchanted blades, a sword forged to counter the malediction. This is the first time in this series that Soga is clashed in blades with someone who seems to have matched his power, or at least for a very small moment countered it. A blade specialized to counter the magatsumi. I'm really excited about this chapter. This chapter really got my jimmies rustled. Now, it is good to be back. A new year, new chapters of Kagurabachi. I'm excited for the future, and as always, that is everything from me. If you've not already, please be sure to like and subscribe. I want to go hard on videos this year. I've also set up a second channel where I'm going to be talking about all sorts of other different manga. It'll be linked in the description down below. It's called Maxim Manga. I have yet to upload on it, but I'm hoping to get one video out on it per month. I want these videos to be heartfelt passion projects, something that obviously won't do too good on this channel. Anyways, that's everything from me. As always, thanks for watching. Much fucking love. Big fucking kisses. Peace.